Hi everyone, welcome to session of our web series Fireside Chat with Champions, in which we interview global business leaders, asking them crowdsourced questions relevant to biggest challenge we face today, COVID-19 and its impact on various aspects of business and the way we can steer ourselves in current uncertainties. Today we have a very special guest with us, Bert-Ola Bergstrand. He is a system entrepreneur and global action facilitator. He is an initiator, founder of a number of international programs, platforms, and networks in the field of crowd impact economy. For example, Social Capital Forum, Living Bridge Planet, Impact Journey, SoCap Network, Social Entrepreneurs Club, Katapult Future Fest, and Nordic Impact Week, to name a few. All of these are focusing on amplifying the human potential through crowds and thereby solving the global challenges in a collaborative manner. Today, he is also working with Trondheim Municipality and Norwegian University of Science and Technology in establishing learning society models. Thanks, Bert, for accepting our invitation. I would request you to let our viewers know a bit more about you, the concept of crowd impact economy, and your current interests and activities. Floor is yours, Bert.
Thank you very much, Deepak, for inviting me here. It's always exciting to listen to people around the world, what they are doing. So this is a bit what I do every day now, especially in the COVID times we are into. Yeah, so you gave a bit of background there, but I'm a normal person. It's always this, sounds that you do a lot and you try to do your best. But my passion is to, like we had this initial talk a few minutes back, that I try to catalyze resources to get people come together, and people is really the biggest resource on earth. I think that's where we need to start the action to connect people. So everything I have done over the last 15 years is to catalyze different actors, catalyze people, getting to knowledge to share between different stakeholders of society, if it's business, academy, civil society. You know, we have different qualities of knowledge, and knowledge is like the assets we can start to build entrepreneurship or better institutions or better investments and so forth. And you said there about crowd impact economy. Well, there are three words there. I have coined it a bit myself. It's not like maybe you can Google what is crowd impact. Crowd is something about people. It's a crowd of people. Impact stands for something around sustainability or passion. You want to do something beyond maybe only. In economics, we speak about risk and return. And the third element is impact. So it's something bigger than only the traditional economics. It has something to do with purpose and passion and what future do we want. That doesn't say anything about money in itself, so to say. And we also, of course, are now in this, since 10, 12, 15 years back, this big technological shift has, of course, been ongoing for longer than that, but using social media and connect like never before. So just look at the corona crisis right now, how countries look at each other, how scientists start to work on vaccine development or something. So it is sort of, when I say crowd impact economy, it's like a new paradigm where people can connect much quicker and learn from each other by using different tools and media. So that is sort of the field I'm engaged in. On the last 15 years, like you said initially, I've been part of initiating or co-creating different platforms. Mostly these platforms are communities that start to do something and maybe eventually to emerge into some kind of technology. But from the beginning, it's a community or some people who want to do something. And we are also in this networked economy where you meet people all over the planet, from South Africa to the US to India to Japan to wherever here. So you go into different, over years, you go into different initiatives, you start to work together, maybe something dissipates, and then you commit to another thing, you bring something with you, and some other things you leave. So that's sort of what I do. And recently, like you said there in the end of the introduction, is that I work with a newly established UN center in Norway, which is hosted by Trondheim Municipality, the city of Trondheim Municipality, and the Norwegian University of Science and Technology, which is in the middle of Norway. So there I'm helping out of building new sort of ecosystems and designing networks and learning among municipalities and cities. So how can we build frameworks there where we really can speed up and learn from each other quicker to develop better societies, better business, better NGOs, better people. That's what I do. A bit shortly summarized.
No, but I know that the huge body of work which you are having, it would take us maybe a day to identify and talk about each of them. You have been doing phenomenal job. I keep on following your post and the activities you are doing. Very fascinating. Very rarely you have someone who understands the most important paradigm which you have talked about: the crowd, the impact, and the economy all together. So great work, but I really am privileged to be talking to you. But we know that COVID is impacting all of us in different ways, and it is also impacting how the societies are moving. Hence, also the social entrepreneurs. I would like to get a feel of how do you see COVID impacting the social entrepreneurship, because you interact with social entrepreneurs across the globe, from Pakistan to India to Europe. So can you give us a little bit perspective? How do you see COVID impacting the social entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I think it is, I have been observing a lot, as all people do, I think, the last 3 months, and spoken to a lot of people every day, small talks, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, half an hour, from all over. And many, like you said, many of the people I'm connected with are sort of social entrepreneurs, or in the future of work, or they are bit edge, small SME, small business people. And so I get that. I think I have a bit of feeling what's going on, but it's like daily shifting. Many of them, it's of course a bit different. I'm up in the very north of Europe, and for people who know the Nordics or have been here, it's a bit of, I don't think you can say the part I'm living in is not the representation of the world. Maybe you have seen in news about the Swedish case and like that. So we are a bit outlier, I think, in the global perspective. So here it's reasonable, okay, still. Of course, we are in a big downturn here as well, like everyone else. But we are a bit, I think, privileged situation if you look at the global perspective. But if you look at people from the entrepreneurs I speak with in Africa or India or in other places, of course, they are suffering. And but still, the social entrepreneur are really the people who tackle the problems. So I think they are sort of getting the sense earliest of many people of what's going on the ground, because they have been close, to the problems or whatever it is. If we take SDGs, they are in all sorts of difficulties and sort of trying to make some things better using different businesses or ways of organizing. So I think also they are finding the opportunities earlier than others. So it's both they are suffering, but on the other hand, they see the future potential here, the future opportunities here. And some, as you see, I can see entrepreneurs already starting to shift into new business model using technology. They become a link to something, whatever, to provide a service, and they are the person going out providing food or new skill sets, connecting to foundations, maybe in US. They're on the ground in a country or a city or a village somewhere on the planet. So it's like transforming into a new space here at the same time. everyone asking other people what's going on. I think I can't count how many messages I got the last 2 months. It's plus 1,000 at least from around the world asking what's going on in Sweden. We heard about Sweden. Is it true or whatever? And we start to have a small conversation on this. So it's like thinking together, acting together, learning together, trying out. No one knows exactly what will be in 3 months or 6 months. Will this lockdown be for, and so forth. So it's also a time where it's very good to have the crowd, because you can quickly check with others on the positive side. So it's sort of moving together forward into the unknown, and that makes it also. The first weeks has been, as I see it, a bit of crisis management, crisis. But it's now we start to go into, we need to open up in one way or another. Society start to open up. So I think it's a good, big opportunity now to start to build sort of a narrative, a space of the future. Where do we want to go when the clouds start to disappear, or when we see a bit the light in the tunnel? But normally you get into crisis, and what's closest to you in the beginning, many are driven by fear or surviving, or in what situation they are with the families and so forth. How do I do? Do I have the toilet paper? Do I have the food? But when you start to orient yourself in that, you can start to build a bit of future orientation. So that's what I think my bit of assessment. In some fields, this application, what you focus on as an entrepreneur or whatever you do in your daily life, bringing some kind of technology into this. That's where you might get some funding. For example, how can you make a service of what you have done before, maybe on the ground? And the learning curves is amazing. You see all over are these webinars taking place, and they look a bit the same. I think many are trying out Zoom for the first time. Not for the early adopters. They have been a year. People we are communicating with, they have done this for years. But now the big crowd is coming. You know, the bell curve, the big. So I also think that will be potentially a very good outcome in the long run if we look 5-7 years into the future. Because now maybe we have a real opportunity to start to take thinking more clever about traffic, about how to use energy more efficient, not travel with cars all over transport systems. Maybe we can be more efficient by doing digital webinars sometime and meet up at other times physically. I strongly believe in physical meetings as well, but a lot of them are totally unnecessary, and we can do them better, more efficiently using webinars. So this is on the positive side of a few years ahead, I think, when we look back. No one knows, but I think so.
That's an awesome articulation, but very well thought out suggestions and the viewpoints. Thanks for that. As you rightly pointed out that once the clouds are over, what next to do is there in everybody's mind. I would like to understand from you, because you work across social sector in diverse fields, from the climate change to sanitation to hunger. So a lot of activities you see very closely. I would like to understand from you which you believe post-COVID would be the priorities, because pre-COVID the priorities are very, very different. Post-COVID, I think, we have better understanding of our own weaknesses. So what are the social sector areas you see would become bigger priorities going forward?
I think it might be different depending on where you live on the planet a bit. Education, many of what's going on before will not be less after. Renewable energy, obviously, we are going into the future, like the climate issues. I think that my personal view of the pandemic is this: if you compare this crisis with the climate is almost insignificant, the corona. So renewable energy and the big trends we need to work with, for example, education, obviously, because we need to learn quicker and quicker, and that's sort of ongoing right now. Better food supply, better systems of health issues, and providing more secure food out there. You can see the weaknesses in some places. Here we don't see much of that. In the Nordic countries it works reasonably well. It's no problem to get food, and like the hygiene factors and what you need for living, so to say. So specifics, the whole ecosystem about smart cities, if you speak about big scale, how do you build more system innovation, infrastructure, how do we know that we go in the right direction? Overall, we are in a knowledge economy, and so whatever you do in providing knowledge or more intelligence around these SDGs, if it's better food system or better energy or better education or what that is, sort of, you work with knowledge today. And we have a rapid shift in technologies and machine learning and all this. So I think we need to go in this creative orientation. It's a big shift towards that. Don't do this repetitive tasks, but more what can you find within your work that is bring some brilliance or a bit of stories into your work, so you make it a bit higher value of your service. So that's more overall. I think it's too early to say specifically this and that will be the future. It's not what I see yet. If you come back in a few weeks, I might know more.
Great. Awesome, Bert. As you rightly said, that the climate change is an issue which we need to tackle it and take it head on. And the food security for some part of the world is very, very important, because in Asia and in Africa, we do see that the supply chain of food are getting broken. They are too fragile, and we need to work on that. But you have been an awesome network builder. You have built so many networks so successfully, and you are considered among some of the very, very innovative person when it comes to create right sort of networks. Due to COVID, do you think that what you have been doing is getting impacted in any way, or you have done anything to come over it and do things better?
I think this network, we are in a networked economy, so I have a bit different takes on this. You see, we are sort of network, a platform economy where all over the planet we are building networks. So this, I think, will happen regardless of becoming a good network. It might affect a bit more in your region or in your business, but overall we are moving in this direction. So it's you can make a difference, but it's hard to say how much more will this affect the big picture. So I do it because I think it's meaningful. So that's the main reason of being networking. Because if you like people and meet people and other places, then it's a perfect time to live it. You can travel around the world 10 times a day with this. Before you had no chance of doing this. And better technologies to communicate and do different events. So this is perfect times for it's more to find this balance of what you do for daily work or whatever we call it, and this more to be in this flow, this constant flow, because there are challenges as well. Like guy who are in all time zones, it's not 1-2 time zones, it's all time zones. How do you manage to sort of orient yourself in this bit of chaos? So there it requires a set of new capabilities to be in this networked economy. It's not only to connect, that's one part, but just one part. You say it's a great connector. Yes, you can connect, but when you have connected, what do you do then? That's another skill. You need to listen and start to build trust with that person, say hello. Many people, it's easy to push a like or connect on Facebook, but what do you do when they accept? So to start to move a crowd forward in some kind of direction is not easy when you start to have maybe hundreds or thousands of people. Otherwise, it's easily dissipate. If something emerges, if you look at small micro movements, Greta Thunberg or others, one thing is things can happen very quickly because it's the right time, but 1 year later it might drift apart. So you also need some kind of navigation or orchestration skills when you get it going. And that's what I also believe is a big part of future work and future economy in this knowledge economy. These capabilities of connecting, of asking questions, to listen to people, create whatever. If you're an entrepreneur or a team leader or works in the municipality or social worker or at the university, you need to foster these capabilities as an individual to make a difference for yourself and society. And it's a bit different from, at least when I was in the school. It was more learn mathematics, learn reading. Some of these are basic skills, but then we need to be better in the creative orientation. And with a lot of opportunities there as well to build business also.
See, physically, we have been like meeting a lot of people, right? One thing is virtual, which you are excellent in. But at the same time, you have been meeting a lot of awesome social entrepreneurs and social impact makers. Do you think post-COVID, because the travel restrictions, the mindset of keeping a social distance, those things would hamper the way we wanted to take things forward? Or do you think that it's okay, that's just one aspect of networking not there? We'll find other ways of doing that.
We find another way. Social entrepreneurs are brilliant, and that, like I said, that's the greatest asset they have. They are problem solvers. They are already finding new ways. So, of course, they suffer hard because they are really struggling with the people who might not be able to pay for your services and everything, but still they are. That's also the big opportunity that they find these signals or how to, these early trends, what they can build new services on. And they are not afraid to fail. They need to test. So they are very good in testing and finding out new things. So I hope also to see that what has been a bit missing, I think, in economy globally, what we speak about open innovation, that the big organization or big institutions haven't been, in my opinion, good enough to build these links to social entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs. It's sort of two distinct fields of how things work. And there could be a lot of mutual benefits here in this post-COVID world if the big organizations learn to open up more to the entrepreneurs, not do everything in-house. We have this project manager or something, they know how to do this at work. Why not invest and build new business model and partnership with the social entrepreneurs? I know, for example, IKEA in Sweden and some others, there are companies that try to do this, but we should do it much more to build this interrelations between social entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs. In general, it's not super big difference for me if you're a social entrepreneur or entrepreneurs. No, they build on needs and then they try to make something better out of that.
Great. So, but I would also like to understand a little bit from you. We've been seeing that European countries, for example, Nordic countries, they've been investing a lot in social cause in Africa. Or when we talk about Germany investing a lot in Southeast Asia. So you see Europe funding a lot of project for social good in the developing world. Do you think post-COVID, with these countries having their own challenges to maintain their own economy and own internal social stress, do you think those funding would dry out, or there would be less focus on other countries and more focus inside within the countries?
I heard just from a Swedish perspective the other day, 2 days back, that the Minister of sort of Aid and Development in Sweden wanted even to increase the Swedish contribution in these times. So, but it's like, I think we are in the middle of this, so it's a bit early to say. I think it still will be significant. The aid, I'm very skeptical to aid overall as a person. I think we should shift that to investments instead. But the question is how much do we help and how much do we suffocate the local economies? So we need to shift the aid to, that's another discussion. But we need to go into an investment perspective instead of aid perspective.
That's great to understand that Sweden is gonna initially at least thinking to contribute more. But that brings us to toward the last section of this discussion. I would like to know from you some few silver bullets that as a social entrepreneur, what 4 or 5 things they should be doing so that when the clouds are not there, once the COVID subsides and at that time, they are still having some oxygen remaining in their lungs.
Yeah, try to sleep sometime so you're not overburdened. Speak with people, maybe not only the people in the closest community. It might be hard, of course, when you are struggling and it's not easy. It's the same for a lot of people these days. But it's good to listening to other people outside your circles. Try to keep a bit of openness in the midst of all this. Surround yourself with some positive people as well. Maybe you get into too much negativity and that affects you. So for your positive mental balancing on this negativity. Also try to find out maybe if what you do, if you don't do it using technology to sell on Facebook or something, maybe you can start to try to get a small on your Facebook page or whatever you use. Most have something. Can you make a service there, even if it doesn't give you a lot today? It might benefit a lot in the coming months and years. Try to find out how you can start to sell something in your daily service. How you can make it a bit more digital, your work. Most people haven't moved into the digital spaces. They are doing a lot of only physical on the ground work. Keep on updating yourself of learnings. Listen to other people. Yeah, keep the spirit on top. That I think is, and then you listen to your inner voice and make sure that the inner voice of yourself is telling a positive story.
Great. This is awesome advice to all the social entrepreneurs who are listening to this discussion. Thanks a lot, Bert. I learned a lot out of this discussion. It was very refreshing, and as you rightly said, that talk to positive people. So I've been talking just now to someone who has been awesomely positive. Thanks for doing what you are doing. Look forward to collaborate with you in future. Thanks a lot, Bert, for your time.
Yeah, and also please connect or follow me on Facebook, and that's how things start to emerge.
Awesome. So I would ask all the audience to please follow Bert, connect with him on Facebook. He's an awesome networker. Thank you, Bert. God bless you. Take care.
Thank you. All the best.